Charlie always had an inexplicable sense of unease whenever he approached the old, creaky door leading to the basement of his childhood home. There was something about the darkness that lurked within that sent shivers down his spine. But one fateful night, curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to confront his fears and venture into the unknown. The key trembled in Charlie's hand as he inserted it into the rusty lock. He turned it slowly, the screeching noise filling the air, amplifying his apprehension. With a deep breath, he pushed the heavy door open and descended into the dimly lit basement. As Charlie cautiously made his way down the narrow stairs, the musty smell grew stronger, tinged with a hint of decay. The flickering light bulb above barely illuminated the vast space, revealing stacks of forgotten boxes and a thick layer of dust covering the old furniture. With each step, Charlie's heart pounded louder, echoing in the silence. The unease intensified as he noticed a trail of dark, sticky stains leading deeper into the basement. He followed the ominous path, his mind conjuring up images of unimaginable horrors. As he turned a corner, Charlie's eyes widened in terror. There, lying on the cold concrete floor, was a pair of bloody gloves. Panic welled up inside him, and he felt the urge to flee, but a voice deep within urged him to keep going, to uncover the secrets hidden within the basement's walls. His heart pounding, Charlie continued his descent into darkness. The trail of stains led him to a small wooden door tucked away in a corner. It appeared out of place amidst the chaos of forgotten belongings. Trembling, he reached for the doorknob and turned it slowly, not knowing what awaited him on the other side. The door creaked open, revealing a hidden chamber bathed in an eerie light. Charlie's breath caught in his throat as he took in the scene before him. The walls were covered in faded photographs, newspaper clippings, and cryptic symbols. It was a room filled with secrets, each one whispering its own haunting story. Drawn to the enigmatic artifacts, Charlie stepped into the chamber, his hands trembling as he picked up a photograph. It showed a group of people, their faces filled with fear and desperation. There was a name scrawled on the back, barely visible: the Vanished Ones. Questions swirled in Charlie's mind as he tried to unravel the mystery behind this hidden room. Who were the Vanished Ones? What had happened to them? And why were their stories hidden away in this basement? Little did Charlie know, his search for answers would lead him down a path filled with intrigue, danger, and the unearthing of long-buried secrets. Charlie became consumed by his quest to uncover the truth about the Vanished Ones. He spent countless hours in the basement, meticulously studying each photograph, newspaper clipping, and document he discovered. He became a detective of his family's past, piecing together fragments of information, connecting dots, and unraveling the enigma that lay hidden beneath his childhood home. Through his extensive research, Charlie learned that the Vanished Ones were a group of people who had mysteriously disappeared from the town many years ago. Their stories had been swept under the rug, forgotten by most, but forever etched into the memories of their grieving families. Driven by a mixture of compassion and a need for justice, Charlie delved deeper into the lives of the Vanished Ones. He spoke to surviving family members, sifted through old police records, and even reached out to retired investigators who had worked on the cases. The more he learned, the clearer the picture became. It was a tale of corruption, deceit, and a deep-rooted conspiracy. The Vanished Ones had been victims, pawns in a larger game orchestrated by powerful individuals in the town. Their disappearances had been purposefully covered up, their lives erased as if they had never existed. As Charlie got closer to the truth, he realized that his own family had been entangled in this web of deception. He discovered that his late grandfather had been a journalist, intent on uncovering the truth behind the Vanished Ones. He had left behind a journal filled with evidence, hidden away in the basement for someone to find. Armed with the knowledge of his family's involvement, Charlie knew that he had to expose the truth and bring justice to the families of the Vanished Ones. He reached out to a sympathetic journalist, sharing his findings and providing them with the evidence he had collected. The story made headlines, shaking the town to its core. The revelations caused outrage, demanding answers and accountability. As the investigation unfolded, those responsible for the cover-up began to crumble under the weight of their guilt. In the end, the truth prevailed. The vanished ones were no longer forgotten. Their stories were finally heard. Families found closure, and the town underwent a process of healing and reflection. Charlie's journey through the basement had not only uncovered a dark past, but had also become a catalyst for change. The community united, vowing to never let such injustices happen again. The basement, once a symbol of fear and secrets, transformed into a symbol of resilience and the power of uncovering the truth. As the years passed, Charlie became an advocate for justice, dedicating his life to ensuring that the vanished ones were never forgotten, and that their stories served as a reminder of the importance of honesty, transparency, and compassion. And so, the basement became a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who seek the truth, a place where the darkness was exposed and the light of justice shone brightly. Margot's heart raced as she descended the creaky wooden stairs into the dimly lit basement. The musty scent of old books and damp earth filled the air, making her skin prickle with unease. She had always avoided this place, but tonight, curiosity had gotten the better of her. The old house had been in Margot's family for generations, and she had heard whispers of a dark secret hidden within its walls. As she explored the basement, she hoped to uncover the truth. The flickering light bulb overhead cast eerie shadows, playing tricks on her mind. Rows of dusty shelves lined the basement walls, filled with forgotten treasures and mementos. Margot's fingers trembled as she picked up an old photograph. It depicted a man and a woman, their faces faded with time. Something about the woman's eyes sent shivers down Margot's spine. As she continued her search, a sudden gust of wind rattled the basement windows, causing her to jump. Her eyes were drawn to a heavy wooden door hidden behind a stack of crates. Intrigued, Margot cautiously approached it, her heart pounding. With trembling hands, she turned the rusty doorknob. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow passage leading to an unknown darkness. Fear coursed through her veins, but a strong sense of determination pushed her forward. She had come this far. She couldn't turn back now. Margot pressed on, her footsteps echoing in the silence. The passage seemed endless, and a voice inside her head whispered that she was venturing into forbidden territory. But her curiosity urged her to press forward, like a moth drawn to a flame. Eventually, the passage opened up into a small, dimly lit room. The air grew colder, and a sense of foreboding settled in Margot's chest. In the center of the room stood an old, ornate wooden box. It was intricately carved with symbols she didn't recognize. Drawn to the box, Margot cautiously lifted its lid. Inside, she found a collection of handwritten letters. The faded ink revealed the letters were written by her great-grandmother, Evelyn, to a mysterious recipient. Margot's hands trembled as she unfolded the first letter and began to read. The letter spoke of a forbidden love affair, a secret that Evelyn had carried to her grave. They detailed clandestine meetings and passionate exchanges. Margot was captivated by the words. But the more she read, the more she realized that this secret had cast a dark shadow over her family for generations. Just as she reached the last letter, the basement door slammed shut, engulfing her in darkness. Panic surged through Margot's veins as she fumbled for a flashlight. The room suddenly felt suffocating, as if the air itself had turned hostile. As Margot shone the flashlight around the room, she caught sight of a small inscription on the box's lid. It read, "The truth shall set you free, but darkness will always find you." The word sent a chill down her spine, and she realized that her curiosity had unleashed something far more sinister than she could have imagined. Margot's heart raced as she read the inscription on the box's lid, her mind racing with fear and anticipation. The darkness seemed to close in around her, suffocating her every breath. She desperately tried to push open the basement door, but it remained stubbornly shut. Suddenly, a low, haunting whisper filled the room, echoing from the shadows. "You cannot escape the truth," the voice murmured, sending shivers down Margot's spine. She turned, her flashlight trembling in her grasp, and her eyes fell upon a figure standing in the corner of the room. It was a woman, her features obscured by the shadows. Her presence exuded an eerie aura, as if she were a specter from the past. Margot's voice caught in her throat as she tried to speak, but the woman's piercing gaze silenced her. "You have uncovered what was meant to stay buried." The woman's voice reverberated through the room. "The secrets of this house have a way of consuming those who dare to seek them." Margot's mind raced, desperately trying to make sense of the situation. Who was this woman? What was the connection between her family and the dark secret? Fear and curiosity warred within her, and despite her terror, Margot found herself compelled to ask, "What happened to my great-grandmother, Evelyn?" The woman's eyes glimmered with sorrow as she began to speak. She unraveled the story of Evelyn's forbidden love affair, how it had torn her family apart. The consequences of that affair had echoed through the generations, weaving a web of darkness and tragedy that threatened to ensnare Margot as well. "You must break the cycle," the woman's voice urged, her voice filled with urgency. "The truth lies not only in these letters but in the choices you make. You have the power to set your family free." Margot's mind reeled with the weight of her newfound knowledge. She realized that the secrets hidden within the basement were not simply a story of the past, but a legacy that had haunted her family for generations. Determination welled up inside her, and she vowed to confront the truth and break free from the cycle of darkness. With a surge of newfound courage, Margot approached the woman, her eyes searching for answers. But as she reached out to touch her, the woman dissolved into thin air, leaving Margot alone in the chilling darkness of the basement. Shaken but resolute, Margot retraced her steps through the narrow passage, clutching the letters tightly in her hands. As she emerged back into the basement, she found the door standing open, as if it had never been closed. With a mixture of trepidation and hope, Margot climbed the stairs, leaving the basement and its secrets behind. She knew that the journey ahead would not be easy, but armed with the truth, she would strive to break free from the shadows that had plagued her family. And so Margot embarked on a path of self-discovery, determined to unravel the mysteries of her family's past and forge a new future. The truth had set her on a dangerous course, but with every step forward, she felt a glimmer of light shining through the darkness. For Margot, the basement would forever remain a symbol of the hidden truths and the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that sometimes facing our deepest fears is the only way to find true liberation.